Check this out, folks. You can see the sheer force of the severe weather overnight. Right now, we have at least a dozen reports of trees on homes, strong winds even ripping off the gas station awning. You can see it right there landing on the building, on top of the building. And we're also tracking power outages and blocked roadways. Plus, we're seeing the storm through your eyes, folks. We're going to be diving into the photographs, the videos that you sent of that damage in your neighborhood.
And we are tracking and going through what happened last night with these storms and what we can anticipate going forward. Have the latest look at your forecast.
All right, Danielle, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. By the way, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ron Jones. We're going to begin tonight with an update on this weekend's weather impact alert as we experience strong storms all across the state of Georgia. Governor Brian Kemp issuing a state of emergency in preparation. Let's look at this video from overnight. Just some of the damage you can see on the roadways. This is in Paulding County. The strong winds toppling trees, knocking them onto the roadways, making them impassable for folks who live in that community, making it really hard for folks to get around. This is parts of Villa Rica. The highway is absolutely shut down overnight, and there are already a dozen reports of trees that fell onto homes. And check out what's left of this gas station. We talked about this at the top of the broadcast. This is on the Villa Rica Highway. As you can see, the awning completely ripped off of its foundation and was tossed aside by the winds into the building. Debris is also scattered everywhere. Let's send it over to meteorologist Danielle Moss for a look at what's happening today. What a mess last night. And I believe we're out of the woods now, right?
Yes, we are out of the woods now. But here's a look, Ron. Over the last 24 hours, this storm system, it's a low pressure system. It literally stretched almost across the entire southeast. This is a radar loop over the last 24 hours. And as you can see, it's out of our area now, but now it's headed towards the Carolinas. And as we started over, Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, Alabama, eastern Tennessee, all got severe weather last night from this same system. So as we put into motion, what are we looking at right now? Our satellite and radar shows that in Pittsburgh right now, there are several tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. So this system is still packing a very large punch as it continues to push off to the east. Here's a look at our severe weather threat for Sunday. You can see that there is a level 1 and a level 2 for the Carolinas and into Virginia. Here in Atlanta, we are definitely looking much better. Some places are still under a tornado watch as well. So while we are out of the woods here in Metro Atlanta and across the state of Georgia, it is a completely different story for people who are into the east, especially all along the East Coast. This wind advisory that you're seeing right now, it stretched from Buffalo all the way down to the Carolinas, at least in the last 15 minutes. And then they expired some of those wind advisories at 2 p.m. Here in Metro Atlanta, though, we are really looking good here. A few light clouds, not even looking at a lot of rainfall. In fact, this is a look at our tower cam this evening. Very little cloud cover. It is a beautiful evening. This is a completely different story than what we were looking at last night. Here's a look at your forecast track for today. What can you expect? Maybe some isolated wraparound rainfall still lingering around 7 p.m. in the North Georgia mountains. But here in Metro Atlanta, we should be staying mostly dry. A few clouds may be lingering around, but Monday is going to be a little bit cooler. You can see starting off into the upper 30s, but we will be dry. That cloud cover is not going to be making a big difference, and we'll be warming up as we head throughout the rest of the week. Ron?
All right, Danielle, we'll talk to you in a couple of minutes here. 11 Alive's Angelina Salcido. She actually spoke with many neighbors in Paulding County as they expect a long road of recovery.
The lights were flickering on and off.
Chaos overnight.
It's dark. You hear things flying. So, we go to the bathroom.
Kaylee York and Scott Bingham hang on to one another while their Paulding County neighborhood is turned upside down.
You think it's gonna, you see videos of other people going through it, but you never think that you'd go through something like this.
Powerful storms sent trees crashing through their 3-year-old's room. Kaylee's grandma left pinned in her bed after a tree hit her home a few houses away.
A big branch literally landed right next to her hip, next to her side, and one of the little small branches went through her pajama pants or pajama shirt and had her pinned in the bed.
But she survived.
God's blessing.
It's just all God.
Just about 15 minutes away, the strength of these winds literally picked up an awning at this gas station that was being held by this concrete, lifted it up and threw it on top of the roof of this building.
The fire department's like, we had to walk from the stop sign We couldn't even drive our truck down here.
So there were about 70 trees down.
While crews try to get trees off roads and power back on, neighbors work to help one another.
They're even willing to start first thing in the morning with chainsaws or anything they have to help. Because there's no telling how long it's going to take.
Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.
We appreciate that, Angelina. By the way, in Atlanta, there is no major damage after the storm. This is what we're being told by the officials. However, some have been left in the dark because there is no power. Georgia Power spokesperson Matthew Kent says that the best case scenario, they're going to have everyone's lights back on by the end of the day.
If you do see down power lines, please stay away from them, act like they're active. And if you see them in a puddle or on a fence, stay away from those areas as well. We want everybody to be safe. And if you see crews out on the side of the road, please give them a little extra room and slow down because we're working to restore your power.
Yeah, it's really good advice. By the way, if your power is still out right now, you can get a better idea of the restoration time by going to Georgia Power's website. Well, we can expect strong response from state leaders following these storms. Just hours ago, Governor Brian Kemp released a statement on social media saying that Marty and the girls and I are praying for all those impacted by this storm system and those still in its path. We will continue to work closely with state and local officials to respond to damage and assess any needs following this weather event. A totally different story in neighboring Douglas County. This is just south of Paulding County. The EMA director says that they got fewer than a dozen calls for help overnight, mostly for downed trees.
We actually are doing really well today in Douglas. Did not have the impacts that we saw just north of us, so we got really lucky with that. We ended up only having 6 calls for trees that had come down, 2 for power lines that came down. We did have a brief multi-vehicle accident on I-20 that shut down the interstate for a short period going westbound. We did have 1 tree on a house, but there were no injuries.
A tree in a house and no injuries. That's really good news. And we're told that no roads are closed in Douglas County right now, and about 24 people had to use the emergency storm shelters last night. Here's a live look right now. Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, a beautiful afternoon. There are several flights, however, several flight delays and cancellations after the severe weather we saw overnight. It made its way across not only the southeast, but the Midwest as well. Right now, there are 771 delays and 39 cancellations. And here are some more of your pictures. This is coming from across Metro Atlanta, this time out of Smyrna, the community of Providence. You can see the downed tree right there. This is from Nisa Mills. You can check this out too. A family in Noonan woke up to a huge tree in their backyard after just missing their porch. You can see even some of the lightning in the background. This is from Chad Austin. He sent this to us. It looks like the tree is damaged, the fence, but it did not hit the home, so that's great news. And then on the edge of Marietta in Cobb County, you can see this large tree fell down in the parking lot of an apartment complex. Once again, no injuries there. By the way, the City of Atlanta officials posting this on social media to please be aware that Chastain Golf Course is shut down today because of weather and other water on several greens. No damage or delays have been reported on the other courses, but they're asking everyone to stay weather aware, of course. And check out this video from Harold Roberts. This is impressive. He took this video from Sidney Marcus Boulevard at Lenox Road. You can see the lightning, a strong lightning strike on the Bank of America building last night, right on the tip. That's making its round on social media. In our 11 Alive morning show, Cheryl Preheim, she sent us this video too. This is some bright lightning and the wind whipping around the side of a house in Tyrone. Be sure to stay weather aware with the 11 Alive app. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to download it for free. You can also sign up for weather alerts as well. We're going to be right back, folks, with more on the aftermath of last night's storms. We're going to give you a look at the damage left behind from a deadly tornado outbreak in other parts of the country. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to 11 Alive Plus. You know, before the severe weather slammed into Metro Atlanta, it caused major damage to homes to some of our neighbors there in Alabama. This is a video from Calera, Alabama, which is about 30 miles north of Birmingham. Look at the destruction. The owner of a mobile home, Tim, says that he and his daughter decided at the last minute to take their dogs and cats to a friend's house who had a basement.
And this room that you see right here, that's my bedroom. I would have been in that room because that's where I spend all my time.
There, Tim says on Friday when he went to pay for insurance on his truck, he also took out insurance on his trailer, which he says they told him they will cover the damage. That's great news. And now let's talk about the cleanup efforts in Arkansas, a different part of the country where a powerful EF3 tornado just ripped through a town Friday, leaving behind a trail of damage. But amazingly, no lives were lost, and the mayor is now calling this a miracle. 5 people were hurt, and the storm-packed winds up to 165 miles per hour. Now crews are working really hard to try to clear up all of that debris, help the community rebuild. Catherine Thornberry has more on their story.
Winds at 165 miles per hour tore through Cave City on Friday night.
It looked like it just tore people's homes away. I mean, it was something I've never seen before.
The National Weather Service calls it an EF3 tornado. Dean Hastings calls it terrifying as he rushed to take cover in his home.
We had some noise going on, the wind was really blowing, then it got eerie quiet and it sounded like a train, that's what they say. And next thing you know, it got quiet again, it was over with.
Hastings has lived in Cave City his whole life. He says to walk outside and see a town that's almost unrecognizable is heartbreaking.
When I just saw the devastation, I just went home and cried.
Our beautiful town, just nothing there anymore.
Samantha Walker says the warmth from her town is no longer there. But there are people building it back up, donating water, food, and other supplies and taking them to those in need. And as the mayor sets the city under a state of emergency, Walker wonders how long she'll have to drive through the debris-coated town.
How long will this take for us to be able to get back to normal? I hate going into town now and seeing all the devastation. I want to see more happiness in life.
Man, what a miracle that no lives were lost there, no lives lost here in Metro Atlanta. Let's get back to Danielle to talk about what we can expect days ahead.
And you know, Ron, after the storms pass through, you really see those communities coming together, and that's the really amazing part of seeing all of the storm damage with the communities really rally together, help with the cleanup process, and really help each other out. Over the last 24 hours, here's another look at how strong these storms were, and this doesn't include those storms that actually had that damage in Cave City, Arkansas. That was the day before, so definitely seeing a lot of severe weather. It was about a 3-day event overall. Here in Georgia, we only saw 1 day's worth of it, and that was 1 day's worth enough. This is a look into ball ground last night. If you were outside at all, you saw those lightning flashes. Even if you were in the house, you could see the lightning flashing all around you. Ball ground. David Wentworth Jr. sent in this photo to our weather impact team on Facebook, and you can see how cool that lightning is. Very scary, but the lightning was definitely very, very prominent in last night's storm. Here's another look right now. What are we looking at on our satellite and radar? It's 2:15 in the afternoon, and at 2 a.m. yesterday morning, we were on air for severe weather coverage, a completely different satellite and radar image. And as we take a closer look into the north near Pittsburgh and Williamsport, definitely still fighting off some of those strong to severe storms. There are a few tornado warnings embedded in all of that. And as you take a closer look, some of these storms, you can see that pink and purple area. That is alarming because that's what we saw last night when some of these storms rolled through, especially in Dallas and near Paulding County. Severe weather threat for us here in Georgia, that is over. However, a larger look, not everyone is in the clear just yet. This storm system moved through and it caused a lot of damage. Tornado watches in effect for portions of New York as well as down south Georgia. They're not quite done yet. There's also a wind advisory literally stretching from Buffalo all the way to the Carolinas earlier this evening. And at 2 p.m., we saw some of those wind advisories expire. But still, imagine how big that storm system is. Here's a closer look here at home. We are dry this evening, and a nice shot from our tower cam. That is a completely different city than what we were looking at yesterday. The nice dry skies, clear skies are definitely allowing for a little bit of daytime warming, and most of us will be staying dry. There is a very slight chance for some wraparound rain rain showers, just some very light isolated showers to pop up into North Georgia around 7 p.m. this evening. Then we'll start to clear out and prepare for your Monday. Monday morning will be a colder start. In fact, we could be starting into the low 40s, upper 30s. Plenty of sunshine throughout the day on Monday. We could have a few clouds, but nothing too serious. As far as our temperatures are concerned today, it is warm out there. It is a beautiful spring-like day. Currently 73 degrees here in Atlanta, 65 up in Clayton in the North Georgia mountains, 74 over in Athens. Plenty of sunshine. This is a beautiful day. If people are cleaning up, trying to restore themselves after the storm, even if they're not in Paulding County, we did have some trees down in some places. If you're trying to cut some of those trees, today is a good day for that. There's a nice wind. Temperatures are very pleasant. In fact, we started off this morning into the 60s, and now we are climbing into the low 70s. Plenty of sunshine throughout the day for this Sunday. Here's a quick look at that 3-day forecast. Monday is going to be a little bit cool. Fair warning, 60 degrees. It'll be a little bit breezy out there. By Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be into the mid to upper 70s. Another little taste of summertime. It's going to feel really nice out there. And I wish I could say, you know, we're done with the rainfall for the next 5-day stretch. Unfortunately, we are not. We are tracking another system that's going to be coming on Thursday. The good news is it's not going to be as bad as what we saw earlier last night and through this weekend. In fact, Thursday, 4:30 a.m., just a very light cold front will be passing through. Majority of this light rainfall, nothing severe, nothing to be concerned about. It will drop our temperatures, though, just a little bit. We're not looking at any severe weather threats. So I know a lot of times after the storm, people are on edge. They're a little bit worried about what's going to happen. Right now, we're just looking at some light rainfall at best. This is 4:30 a.m. on your Thursday. Then we start to dry out for your Friday and Saturday. And then Saturday morning, we could see some more light rain. This is just the season change. This is what you see, a few days of nice weather, and then we start to see some rainfall falling in behind it. So our 7-day forecast is a little bit of a roller coaster. 72 degrees for today, down into the low 60s for your Monday, back into the upper 70s, tracking more rain, and those temperatures continue to climb and fall as we head throughout the next 7 days.
Yeah, that was a good description, the roller coaster effect, Danielle. Thank you. We'll talk to you in a couple of minutes. You know, folks are now getting a look at some of the damage from our viewers. Check out this tree absolutely split in half. This is from Luke Hammond. He sent us this photograph overnight from Powder Springs. You can see there's a lot of debris on the ground, and I'm sure a lot of folks are scared there as well. The good news, the tree did not fall over and hit that building. We're also seeing some of the damage across the southeast as the National Weather Service is already reporting multiple tornadoes that touched down on the ground. This is in southern Mississippi. Look at the trees swaying in the wind. The bad news here, the storm tossed some of the debris more than 25,000 feet into the air, and Mississippi's governor says at least 6 people have died in that state because of the weather. Well, ahead of last night's storms, multiple states across our country were hit really hard by the deadly tornadoes that ripped through the Midwest and the South on Friday. Multiple people, unfortunately, were killed in Missouri and Arkansas. Jen Sullivan has more on the damage and the storm threat.
Oh my God! Terrifying moments for 2 people in Rolla, Missouri, as a tornado surrounds their car, violently shaking it. This powerful storm system spawning at least 25 tornadoes across the Midwest and South overnight. At least 11 people were killed in Missouri.
Trees, just the amount of debris, number of overturned tractor trailers, cars pushed around.
One of the hardest hit areas was in Butler County, Missouri.
This was widespread in the different areas it hit, but the one mobile home park was the most casualties and people are injured.
Multiple homes and businesses damaged or destroyed in Villa Ridge, Missouri, about 40 miles southwest of St. Louis. Toppled trees covering homes and cars. Emergency crews saying it's been hard to rescue residents with all the debris blocking the roads.
There's multiple power lines down, and it's still a very dangerous situation.
Tornadoes carving out paths of destruction in Arkansas, where at least 3 people were killed as a result of the severe weather. In Stillwater, Oklahoma, fierce winds fueling these brush fires. State emergency management officials say they battled more than 130 wildfires across 44 counties Friday. The governor declaring a state of emergency in 12 counties.
The damage is unbelievable.
As the cleanup begins for these communities, many are still under the threat for another round of severe weather. The National Weather Service issuing a level 5 out of 5 warning for severe thunderstorms for portions of Mississippi and Alabama. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
All right, let's bring Danielle in right now. So we look at what happened in Arkansas, what happened in Mississippi, those deadly storms that they had to deal with, and our hearts and prayers go out to them. Here, we kind of escaped some of that. And
Yes.
you guys were like working 24/7 trying to get the information out there. What was that like?
You know, whenever we have a situation like this, whenever we have to do severe weather coverage, we call it our Super Bowl, because that's the day where we are focused on that severe weather. We are focused on making sure that our viewers are as safe as possible. And sometimes, you know, you can't get the message out to everyone, but you try your best to make sure that people are informed about where the storms are currently, where they're going, and when they can be cleared from that severe weather threat.
And I know you can't show like under the hood exactly what you guys do, the science behind it, but you're constantly checking the weather patterns to see if things shift and change. Did they shift a lot, or was it exactly how it was prescribed?
Sometimes they do shift. For instance, if you're looking at a storm system like last night, it's pushing eastward, right? But some of those isolated cells are going northeast. So when you see like the storms that happen in Dallas, you have to make sure that you're tracking them correctly. So it's all a part of a long line, a squall line of storms, and that's how you get that high wind damage. But you have to be so focused on, okay, how is this storm forming? And you have to watch the history of the storm. So we started watching these storms way back in Alabama. We saw them develop all the way through that state. We saw the damage that it caused. So then you're on higher alert. Like, okay, these storms have a history of producing severe weather, high winds. We're hearing reports of trees down and things of that nature. And you see these videos, Ron, and it really puts it in perspective of what we're doing in the studio compared to what people are seeing outside their windows.
Absolutely. I think that is Mississippi. That is video from Mississippi there. And so while you guys are trying to calculate all of that to make sure that everyone is weather aware, you guys, as I was saying, working 24/7 here to get the information out. Do things change rapidly? Like, you know that it's heading east, we know that it's heading east, but can it automatically, maybe not automatically, somehow shift northeast?
Yes, you can definitely see that happen. And I think that's another reason why this Storm Prediction Center puts out such a broad area of, okay, these people are in a level 3, these people are in a level 4, because you could see that shifting. And we were here, you know, lucky in Georgia, but throughout Alabama, there were several confirmed tornadoes last night near Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And when you see that happening, and then you start to see our damage was further north Georgia, that's a slight shift. It doesn't make a drastic change while the system is actually happening, but you can start to see those slight shifts happening. Another reason why you have to watch the history of the storm.
Watch the history, and we're going to get to full weather here in a minute. I got one more question for you, because I know there's a lot of our viewers out there, residents here in Metro Atlanta. They have family in Mississippi. They have family in Alabama. Are there still threats there that they have to be concerned about?
Not today. They can definitely have a breath of relief. We're not seeing any storms move through that area today, but I used to work in Memphis. I know how scary it is to deal with those storms, and a lot of people who live in the Mid-South and in Mississippi and Alabama, they are terrified of severe weather because of storm systems like we just saw.
Just like we just saw. Okay. Well, moving forward here in Metro Atlanta, you talked about the roller coaster effect.
Yes.
So hopefully there's brighter days ahead.
Exactly. And we are starting to see those brighter days already, Ron. This is another look at that satellite and radar over the last 24 hours. It is definitely a breath of fresh air for us here in Atlanta. Here's a look into Paulding County last night. We had our own Melissa Nord there. She was there in the storm, seeing exactly what happened, what went on. What you're seeing here, this is literally a gas station awning. These are the legs of a gas station. This is where you pull into the stall and say, okay, I need 5 on pump 1. It is upside down. That's how high those winds are, and it happened in an instant. That's all thanks to that storm system. Now we're looking at nice clear skies. We're not looking at any severe weather at all. All of that is to the north and to the east and off to the east coast into the Carolinas. As of right now, we're starting to see even that some of those tornado warnings are starting to dissipate, which is great news for them. We all know how it feels to be in severe weather. None of us want to be in that area. And here in Atlanta, we are done with that severe weather threat for today, which is good news. That's going to bring a little bit of relief for people who are really trying to clean up and pick up the pieces and try to move forward from this storm. storm. As far as the winds are concerned, we could be seeing some light gusty winds, but nothing that meets the criteria for a wind advisory. As far as our satellite and radar is concerned right now, we are nice and dry. It is a beautiful day. Every time I come back to this Arizona Avenue cam at our tower cam, it looks a little bit clearer, and that's great news for those people who are outside. Maybe even if you're traveling to go help a family member that is off back to the west, like in Alabama or Arkansas or Mississippi. Here's a look at our future cast track. Over the next few hours and few days, we'll have some cloud cover, a few isolated showers, but overall, it's going to be a nice day. We will have a cooler start on Monday. In fact, 8:30 a.m., check out these temperatures. Clayton, near freezing, 36 degrees. So temperatures are going to be cold to start the day on Monday, but it's going to be nice and warm throughout the day. Plenty of sunshine, and this is just the beginning of it. We'll have some nice, beautiful days, at least until Wednesday and Thursday. Then we'll be tracking a little bit more rainfall. Ron?
Okay, Danielle, thank you. We really appreciate that. By the way, folks, I know you're watching 11 Alive Plus. You have friends out there, family out there. Tell them they can download the 11 Alive Plus for free on their television. Join us for 11 Alive News at 6. We'll see you then. Good night.